Hello and welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Ayşe Süberkaş. The last time the leaders of Turkiye, Russia and Iran met in person, it was a very different world. There was no global pandemic and the conflict in Ukraine was years away. Now the three presidents have met to discuss a long-running issue that has been largely forgotten: how to end Syria's 11-year-long civil war. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan arrived in Tehran, where he met his Iranian counterpart Ebrahim Raisi to discuss a series of bilateral issues. He was followed by Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is on his second trip abroad since ordering an attack on Ukraine back in late February. The three leaders touched on the security situation in Syria's northwest province of Idlib, the delivery of humanitarian aid, and the threat of terrorism. The talks came as Turkey stepped up plans for a possible operation into northern Syria to clear the YPG terror group from its borders. So, can the three leaders hatch out a new deal? And will the conflict in Ukraine affect the delicate balance Ankara and Moscow has maintained in Syria? And to discuss this latest trilateral meeting on Syria, joining me now from Ankara is Ahmet Keser. He's an associate professor at Hasan Kalyoncu University. And from Istanbul, Navvar Shaban, he is a security analyst at the Omran Center for Strategic Studies. Gentlemen, welcome to Straight Talk. It's good to have you on the program. So, Ahmet, the guarantors of Astana peace process, Turkey, Iran and Russia, got together in Tehran to discuss issues from the latest situation in Syria to bilateral ties as well as regional developments. What was the summit trying to achieve, and is there any significance to its timing?
Ayşe, as we know, this is a continuation of the Astana progress, and these three guarantor countries of the Astana progress are trying to find some solutions, because we have seen that after 2017, to be honest, we didn't see too much improvement related to the Syrian situation, especially the Commission of Constitution could not reach any agreement on the issue.
Yes.
Yes, we have some de-escalation regions, which the situation is a little bit calmed down and conflict is controlled. But now we have a situation that separated regions under the control of different powers. So a divided Syria, not a united one. So I think this progress is very important. That's why if the leaders can reach an agreement for the further situation, at least to find solutions among the groups related to the constitution and for the future of Syria.
So, Navvar, where does the Astana peace process stand now, in your opinion? Is it still as effective as it was formed in 2017 when the world was much more different?
First of all, thank you for having me. In regard of Astana and its importance, it did since 2019 or 18. It tackled specific issues in relation to security development or military development. It didn't have a zoom-out scope for the region. But for example, what's going on right now, there will be discussion on specific fronts or specific topic in regard of the Northwest. Northeast, there are some obstacles that are being that presented itself before the beginning of Astana, and we know that Faisal Muqdad is visiting the Iranian foreign minister also. The main idea, what I'm trying to say, is that Astana will not take the whole, let's say, whole block in regard of the issues or development that's happening in the region, in the opposition region in the Northwest. There are specific issues or topic that is directly connected or related to the three guarantees, either Iran, Turkey, or the Russian.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but Ahmed, what are Iran, Russia, and Turkey's priorities given their conflicting interests in the region?
Ayşe, when we look at the perspectives of three countries, first of all, in the last 3 years, Turkey has changed her approach to Gulf countries and Israel and started to improve the relations, which is not good for Iran, for example. So the Iranian side does not prefer Turkey and Israel to have better relations, but that is a diplomatic success also which will, let's say, contribute to the security in the region. To be honest, when we look at the real problems between Iran and Turkey, normally since 1639 Construction Agreement, there is not a real conflict. So we can say a cooperation in competition, especially in trade and economy. But after the US sanctions, it went down, starting from 21 billion to 1 billion, and then improved to 5 billion. So these two countries try to improve it. For Russia, we have, after Russian-Ukrainian war, the food shortage of the world and try to find solutions for opening the Russian resources to the other world, etc. So there are a lot of issues to be spoken.
So Navar, how has the Ukraine conflict changed the calculations in the region? How new differences emerged between Turkey, Russia, and Iran following Russia's attack on Ukraine?
So there are a lot of aspects that got affected directly or indirectly because of the Russian invasion to Ukraine. But let's talk about the most important thing is that the Russian, at a certain level, they were not able to send new reinforcement. It's very important to highlight that the Russian did not pull any of their forces or a major number of their forces from Syria. But they stopped having the luxury of sending new forces to Syria because they are deploying these forces in Ukraine. So thus creating a gap. And this gap is eventually got filled by the local Iranian-backed militia or sometimes by the Iranian themselves. That caused a threat for the Israeli because the Russian played it very smart when it comes to the mobilization for their forces inside Syria. What they did is that they pulled some of their forces from the south, creating a problem, a security problem for the Israeli, and that's why we saw an increase in the Israeli hit. So there are a security development in regard of the ongoing invasion. Mm-hmm. But it is triggered. It is not like something that happened because of the invasion directly. It is created and triggered and let's say orchestrated by the Russian. In regard of the other region in Syria, all of the region are witnessing economic problem in related to specific items, fuel problem, and also the duplication of the security problem in regard of the north. The Iranian have now more space to operate.
Yes,
this is creating a problem for everyone, and I think what's happening right now in Astana, what the difference between this Astana and the before Astana or the old Astana is that the Iranian have more power during this Astana because they have more space, and the Russian knows that, the Turk knows that, the Russian still are a good power, a strong power inside Syria, but they are not like before. There is some space or some tools they lost, or let's say they are not able to use like before.
So, Ahmet, having mentioned security concerns, Turkey says it is likely to launch a new military operation in northern Syria, citing security threats stemming from the PKK and YPG. Why would Iran and Russia be opposed to a Turkish military operation in the region?
Well, Ayşe, Turkey's priority above the threats is the PKK-PYD, while Iran's and Russia's priority is given on the existence of and protection of Syrian regime. So Iran and Russia feels that each operation coming from Turkey is strengthening the position of Turkey in the Syrian lands territory. So that's why they do not want to increase the existence of Turkish security forces inside the Syrian borders. But even if they prefer this one, they do not take any precautions to prevent the PKK-PYD existence in the region as well. So that is the dilemma which the sides should find a concrete solution, at least to be on the same track, to find solutions for all the threats against for all the countries, because security in Syria for Turkey means to prevent the attacks coming from PKK-PYD and to provide a useful area for migrants to return to their own land. Yes. On the other hand, for Russia and Iran to protect the existence of Syrian regime and to guarantee its existence in the region.
Yes,
so that is the different positions, I think.
Yeah, but both say possible Turkish military operation could destabilize the region. Navar, would you agree that? Because we also know that the United States is also opposing such operation. Guess a possible Turkish operation in northern Syria is the only issue that these countries unite against. What's your take on that? And how tense is the situation, especially in the northern parts of the country?
We're talking about, first of all, the American have like this roadmap, and if this roadmap is not being affected by the military operation, they will not oppose. This roadmap includes the interest of the Northeast, not the Northwest. Even when Afrin operation happened, the American had a very strange take to Afrin. They treat the SDF, YPG, in Northeast different than the Northwest. So the American have this like specific rules. If these rules were affected, then they will talk. So it's very important also to highlight that the Russian and the Iranian does not have a problem or don't have a problem with the military operation, the Turkish, but they have a problem if this operation affected their interest. For example, if the Turkish army and the national army, Syrian national army, were able to capture Tel Rifat, then they will have a full fire control on the main road that connects Aleppo city with Nubal and Zahra. Yes. Which means that the local Iranian-backed militia in Nubal and Zahra will be under the mercy of the Syrian National Army fire. That is the problem. And the same the Russian. The Russian don't want M4 to be harmed at all. This is the first point. The Russian don't want full control, a new full control from the Turkish side on any border area. That's why they are emphasizing and making more effort to keep the agreement of the joint patrol in Ain al-Arab Kobani separated from everything.
All right, gentlemen. Unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk.